Hey guys, how are you? How you doing? And welcome back to another video on Sorare Josh. Challenger is the focus of today's video. The 5 leagues making it up: Portugal, Turkey, Denmark, Scotland, and the Austrian Bundesliga. And I want to look at ways that we can possibly get hot streaks, some essence along the way, and maybe even some leaderboard prizes to top that up. And what I'm going to be looking at is not necessarily your smashers with your Celtics and teams like that, but a different way of looking at it, a different strategy, and seeing if that could work out as the season goes on. And I would really love to know what you guys think of that. And I want you guys to come on this journey with me to see it over the season. So if that is something that you would want to see and look forward to, then feel free to hit that subscribe button, give me a like, and even a comment, and let me know your strategy for the season coming up in Sorare. But as we know, it's those 5 divisions making it up. And what that means is on the first 6 game weeks on Sorare 26, we have got Hot Streaks Throwback coming. And that means points total less, prize money doubled. And for me, that just blows my mind because I'm thinking, right, if we can get a good strategy in place, what we could get is a return on investment, at least half of it straight away. And then we're pretty much going to be playing risk free for the rest of the season and having fun and having many, many game weeks of utility out of our players. And that's what I'm really looking at with this. Premier League's my main focus. But this has got me thinking, do I possibly want to jump in, get a little team going, get a little stat going possibly, and really see where we can go? But this hot streak is running for the first 6 game weeks. What you have to do is hit 250 points in your first one, 300 in the second, and you would have $16 back. And what my thinking for that is if you can get that the first time, maybe you don't get it in the third week, but if you do, you've got $50. But if not, you drop back down, and then you can hopefully do that again with this lower points total. And then what that means is you're going to have about $32 straight away. And leading on from that, with the cap bonus and multi-club bonus now that we can see here, if you do manage to find a team that you think could play well, and that means their fixtures possibly at home, they play better than away. They just might have some good performances. There's worse teams than them in the league that they might be able to play well against, keep a clean sheet, do well. This cap bonus could be huge with the extra 4%, your collection bonus, and your big captain score in there as well. What that means is that those relatively low scores to hit in the first few weeks, they're going to be pretty easy to hit provided you manage to get your 5 starters in there. And if you really fancy floating the boat out, you get an extra 2% by not stacking and having no more than 2 players from the same team in each lineup. And that's where I'm going to be looking at and going to be looking at throughout this video. So let's jump into it. Kasper Schmeichel, his price is nuts. Celtic people are going wild. They want everything last year. We know Quinny, we know McBride, we know they love their Celtics. But looking at the price of this is the angle I'm taking. I'm trying to look at it a little bit differently. Kasper Schmeichel has been going for around £60 to £66 here on these auctions. And when you look at just that price for a goalkeeper, we can jump in and then see the price of someone like Maeda as well. And we can see what he's been selling for. Anywhere from 50, around the £50 mark, let's say. You're looking at £110 for just a forward and a goalkeeper and no one else. And granted, Celtic will play well. They've got that midweek utility in the Champions League. Will they be able to make the most of it? I'm not too sure in that sense. But what I'm then looking at is you can probably get a whole collection for less than the price of Kasper Schmeichel. And that's where my thinking comes in. Is there a team in Scotland, Turkey, the other leagues that really can get you a return on investment while having fun, giving you a new division to learn about? Knowledge is everything, as we know on this game at the end of the day. But I'm thinking, can a team like Hearts, someone like this, with their players, be able to get you that collection score? So with this, their goalkeepers at the moment, it's a bit up in the air, so you are going to have to do your research. But when you look at the positions that they have available, you have got Xander Clark, who I would imagine will be the starter again. They've also got Lawrence Shankland, who's an absolute smasher in this division, for £11. I've looked it up. You can get each of these teams for around about £30 to £40 for the whole collection. And when you think of the price of Kasper Schmeichel, are Hearts going to be able to have a couple of good game weeks? Are their fixtures good? Will they be able to? Do they play better at home than they do away from home? How is that really looking for the season? And with them lower hot streaks, earning essence, getting leaderboard prizes, is a team like Hearts, someone like this, going to be able to do that for us? So when we look at it, we've got Hearts, we've got a team like Livingston, they're recently promoted. You've got their cards here. And what that means is that they're the unexpected unknown quantity. Now, I had a Livingston stack when they were in the Scottish League last time, when Shamal George, Frank Nouble, players like that played for them. But if we're going to look here at this, we can see their goalkeeper and the price of him. You can instant buy him right now for £5.43 from Sorare. Now, Livingston, obviously, they aren't going to be anything fantastic probably in the league. But what may happen is they may get that odd result here and there. And because the investment has been so little compared to possibly being able to win back this in the first few weeks, if you pick 5 starters with your collection score, your captain bonus, and they do play relatively okay and don't lose lots of score, you've got back pretty much within the first 6 weeks $32. And by the look of this, a Livingston stack would be even less than $32 if their starting goalkeeper is this price already. And then you can go a little bit more expensive. They finished 4th last season, I believe. But you've got Hibernian. Someone like this. This stack here would have earned you some good money last season. They have signed a new goalkeeper, so they do come in at a little bit more expensive. But with a team like Hibernian, you know if this goalkeeper comes in and gets scores like these, he's around £17, so a third of the price of Kasper Schmeichel. He's going to play well. They're going to get some good scores. And you also do have a little bit of European utility out of a team like Hibernian, which was why I added them in there, because that means you might be able to use them in a beat, put them in a lineup. They might win you back some essence. They might win you back something. And honestly, I think that this combination with this Hotstreaks and your collection score, with your bonuses, possibly earning essence and getting a whole season of utility out of them, I think could genuinely be crazy. And I think that my strategy going in to the opening weekend next season will be to pick up one of these teams. And what you could even do, if you want the extra 2% on there, pick up 2 from here, pick up 1 from here, pick up 2 from Hibernian along the way. Or your favourite players from the Scottish League. Find 5 players that possibly have played in the Premier League who have now ended up in the Scottish League. And it doesn't just have to be Scottish League. And that is my favourite thing about it, because you've got 4 extra divisions. You've got Portugal, so you've got your smashers from there. You've got Turkey. If you love Victor Osimhen, you can go and get one, because you can also use your classic card. That's a huge point, to be fair. Should have mentioned that earlier on in the video. But if you really, really want to go out there, get your classic smasher on a good XP bonus already, with 2 players from somewhere else, 2 players from somewhere else, and even let's say you don't get them up to 5%, let's just say you get them up to 3% on their cards, Osimhen scores, you are looking at easily getting these streaks, and that return on investment would be great. You can even come into the Danish league. They've only got 3 teams currently, but in here you have got some absolute smashers that you would be able to use, pick up, and you can learn knowledge about it. So therefore, if they do move on to the Premier League, or they move to another league, they move to somewhere else, or someone just, you want to have a chat about Sorare, things like this in the community, you can learn so much, you can do so much. And then you've also got the Austrian Bundesliga as well. You've got your Salzburgs, who obviously last season didn't take off on fire, but what you do have is your Salzburg, you've got your Austria Vienna, your Lask, everyone like this, and you can combine it all. And as you can tell, I'm getting more and more excited as the video's going on, because I do think Sorare 26 is going to be magical for these hot streaks alone. It's just you versus the game. That's simple as it is. It's not leaderboards anymore, finishing where you finish and going, oh, that was disappointing. It's, you know, you get this score, you've got that streak. And I'm focusing on these bottom ones. So when we do go back to not being double, these are your hot streaks here. If you can just farm these over and over, even climbing all the way up here on these leaderboards with a lower team cost, with a collection, not your Celtic, not your Rangers, but you could have a smasher in there. And that's where we're going to look at these people, because look at this, for example, Dominic Fritz classic card, £11 8p. You put him in here, look at these scores, look at them. Blue, blue, green, blue, everywhere you look, they are fantastic. You put him in a team with a goalkeeper-defender combination, a midfielder, and let's say you used a midfielder in your extra spot as well. Your captain, Dominic Fritz, and he got these scores. The return on investment, let's say you did genuinely spend £11 on Fritz. You then went out and you ended up buying the Hibernian goalkeeper for £20. You spent £31. You pick up a couple of other players in there with the collection scores. You might be looking at spending £40, £50. £10 less than just Kasper Schmeichel on his own. And the possibilities are endless. You never know. That team might well go on and win you a division, which would be incredible. The likelihood is maybe not. But if you just want to focus on that streaks, possibly getting them low leaderboards, the essence you might craft along the way, which will then unlock the crafting factory for you, which means you can jump in there, craft a car from these divisions. But that's just Fritz as well. You've got so many smashes. As I said, you've got Victor Osimhen. Absolutely smashes it in the Turkish league. Unbelievable. Green, blue, everywhere you look. Even then, you come into here and you've got Andrade. They played Liverpool a couple of seasons ago, I believe. But he plays for Lask, and you've got players like him who smash as a defender. Your classic card, you're probably going to be looking at your midfielder or forward. However, if you did want to go the goalkeeper option, there's that to do as well, if you fancy that. But looking through the list, you've got some great players. You've got Rafa for Besiktas and all these cards to come along. And then the thing else to, well, that's reminded me, is you probably wouldn't do it as your classic card unless it is someone like De Bruyne. But you've got people like Scott McTominay that you can chuck in your team. Kevin De Bruyne can go in your team. Romelu Lukaku. You've then even got people like Mads Bidstrup, who Salzburg didn't have a good season last season necessarily on their standards. But look at these scores. Still absolutely smashes without many decisives in there either. And if you can find a team that's not going to concede many, many goals, but what they're going to do is their keeper's going to make saves. Your forward's going to contribute. He's going to get goals, hopefully, because obviously goals would get us higher up the leaderboard. And you're looking at players like this, and even there, just seeing someone like Koku, who's moved to Besiktas as well. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. As you can tell, I am getting more and more excited about the launch of Sorare 26. These cards are making me want to deposit and buy half the market, but I'm trying to do it strategy based, and the Premier League is going to be here before we know it. I'm going to go and calm down, I think, because honestly, I am so excited for this season. I hope you guys are too, and I hope you enjoyed this quick deep dive into my thinking behind Challenger. And this also works for Contender, Belgian League, everything that's coming and to come as well. I honestly cannot wait. I hope you guys can't too. Drop me a comment and let me know if you have enjoyed the video. But I'm going to go and sit down and calm down for a minute, I think. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.